coming to you from this white void, which I do admit looks like the inside of a ghost's spooky rectum. And it has been a busy week with the two presidential campaigns making their final arguments. And Jared Kushner, Harvard's shiniest mistake, decided to make this last-ditch appeal to black voters.
One thing we've seen in a lot of the black community, which is mostly Democrat, is that President Trump's policies are the policies that can help people break out of the problems that they're complaining about, but he can't want them to be successful more than they want to be successful.
Well, fuck you, Jared. I guess we should all be applauding you for wanting to be born to a billionaire real estate developer, then wanting your father to pledge $2.5 million to Harvard not long before you were admitted, and then for wanting to marry the daughter of the world's most successful liar. If only more black fetuses had your ambition and drive, maybe they'd be as successful as you. But look, the fact is, the election is now just 2 days away, and because of that, our show tonight is going to be a little bit different, because instead of just having one main story, we're actually going to have two, each focusing on a different aspect of the Trump presidency. And our first story concerns the coronavirus. It's the Home Alone 2 of viruses, as it's amplified the dangers of air travel. Lots of it took place in New York, and right in the middle, for no good reason, is Donald fucking Trump. And I know that the fact we're about to talk about this at all would make Trump roll his eyes.
That's all I hear about now. That's all I hear. Turn on television. Like, COVID. A plane goes down. 500 people dead. They don't talk about it. COVID. By the way, on November 4th, you won't hear about it anymore. So, COVID.
Look, believe me, I would love nothing more than to not talk about COVID and instead return to subjects we'd normally cover on this show, like scented candle fraud or alpaca veterinarian malpractice. But unfortunately, I can't do that when so many Americans are still dying of COVID every day. For many, Trump's handling of the coronavirus is going to be a significant factor in how they vote. And to listen to him, that's really not a problem. He's labelled his handling of the pandemic as tremendous, A+, and said nothing more could have been done, which is obviously ridiculous, as America has just 4% of the global population and yes, about 20% of global cases. And if you're thinking, oh, come on, who doesn't know that Trump fucked up this pandemic? The truth is, a lot of voters are more than willing to give him the benefit of the doubt.
How do you feel President Trump has done in handling the pandemic?
The best he can for something that's so somewhat unknown.
I think he's probably doing the best that he can right now. I mean, there's so much mixed information out there and trying to decipher what's fact and what's fiction.
The pandemic, not his fault. And everything that's gone along with it, not his fault. He's doing the best he can.
Is he? I mean, I guess that depends, doesn't it? Do you mean that he's doing the best that any president can, or the best that he can? Because if it's the second one, you may actually be right. We should probably all be grateful that he hasn't tried bottling his urine and selling it as Trump immunity juice. And look, all presidents, whoever they are, tend to face a defining crisis, and this was unquestionably Trump's, but his response has been such a disaster that there are massive fuck-ups you may have already forgotten. Remember that time that he suggested we should leave American citizens on a cruise ship ravaged with coronavirus because they'd increase the number of positive cases in the country, and he likes the numbers being where they are? That was insane, right? And we covered that on this show. In fact, we've talked about coronavirus a lot on the show this year, but we still thought that tonight, especially if you or someone you know also thinks that nothing more could have been done, it would be worth taking a look at three crucial areas where more could very much have been done, specifically preparation, coordination, and communication. And let's start with preparation, because it is worth noting previous presidents had been aware of a threat like this for years. George W. Bush demanded the government develop a pandemic response plan all the way back in 2005. And Obama created a pandemic preparedness team and gave a speech in December of 2014 that is eerily prescient.
There may and likely will come a time in which we have both an airborne disease that is deadly. And in order for us to deal with that effectively, we have to put in place an infrastructure, not just here at home, but